Hi, Year 9. Soon you're going to be recording your persuasive speech for your next CAT. So I wanted to talk about some things that make a good speech. The first one is to show some enthusiasm for your topic. The next thing to think about is pace. It's important when you're doing a speech to not speak too fast, but also not too slow. If you speak too fast, it's going to be difficult for people to understand you and have time to process what you're saying. And if you speak too slowly, then you might put your audience to sleep. Another thing to think about is eye contact. So make sure that you frequently look up at the audience. So in this case, you're going to be recording your speech, so you need to make sure that you frequently are looking up and looking at the camera. The next thing is to think about your body language whilst you're doing your speech. So don't stand there nervously swaying. Have a confident posture. Stand upright. And no swaying or rocking or anything like that. Another thing that's going to help you deliver a good speech is having some cue cards. So being well prepared and having your speech on cue cards is going to make it much easier for you. I've seen many students doing speeches standing there with a piece of paper that's got their whole speech written on it and frequently losing their place because they've got it all typed out onto a piece of paper. If you have cue cards, it's going to be much easier for you to know where you're up to in your speech. On your cue cards, you might want to put some dot points, things that you want to remember, important points you want to remember, persuasive techniques you want to use, and the evidence that you're going to use to support your arguments. All right, they're probably the key things that you need to have on your cue cards. The next thing that you can do to help you deliver a good speech is to rehearse your speech. You can do this in front of your parents. You might be a good idea also to try recording your speech and timing how long it goes for. Your speech should go for at least 3 minutes. So I would suggest that you rehearse your speech and time yourself to make sure you're on target with the length of your speech. Also, the other reason to rehearse your speech is so that you don't trip over your words when you're doing your speech. Okay, there's no words in your speech that you stumble over because you're not sure how it's pronounced. That's why it's a good idea to rehearse your speech first. Also, I would also suggest record your speech as a practice and play it back. Actually, not as a practice, sorry. Record your speech on Flipgrid, because we're going to be using Flipgrid, and play it back before you submit it, so that you can make sure that your voice is clear, you're easy to understand, and you're easy to hear as well. Okay, so making sure that the volume is good, because if I can't hear your speech, then I can't give you a mark. All right, so make sure you play it back before you submit it. The other thing that you may not have seen, I did put it on Compass, but I'm not sure if all of you read the lesson plan on Compass this week. Make sure you have used signposting in your speech. So signposting are words that tell your audience kind of what to expect next in your speech. So you might use words like to begin with, most importantly, also, as well as, another, next, finally, or ultimately. All right, they're all signposting words because they let your audience know when you're going into the next argument, all right, or when you're about to conclude your speech. Also, think about your pitch. When you're talking, your pitch is the variation in the tone of your voice. So if you speak in a monotone voice all throughout your speech like this, you're going to end up putting people to sleep. So you want to try to vary the tone whilst you're speaking, because it makes it more interesting to listen to. All right, so they are the key things to think about to deliver a good speech. Once you have finished your speech, I would like you to complete this self-review. So I've put this self-review on Teams in the Files tab. And this is just a checklist for you to make sure that you've got everything you need in your speech, all right, before you go ahead and record it and submit it. All right, thanks for listening and good luck with recording your speeches.